Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans, and it is Saturday, February 15th, 2020. I came to bring you a story deriving out of Chicago, and the source for this information is CBS Chicago. Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly is in trouble once again. Oh, yes, honey. The Pied Piper is. No words. Played out, yes, but still got shenanigans going on. There is a new victim claiming she had sexual relations with Mr. Kelly. She is labeled minor 6 in this federal case, and she states that she had sex with Mr. R. Kelly during 1997 to December 2000. Minor number 2, who was a 17-year-old at the time, has backed out of the case, and they do not know if there's an issue of credibility or she just doesn't want to testify. But as I state, there is a new indictment brought forth against Mr. Kelly. This will be minor number 6, bringing forth the charge against Mr. Kelly, and minor number 2 has backed out of testifying against Mr. Kelly. There is right now 5 charges, 5 victims who were minors at the time, and that count is at 5 at the moment, pursuing charges against Mr. Kelly for sexual assault. The state, right now, the prosecutors are trying to seize assets and stock out of Mr. Kelly's Base Productions Ltd. company, and they are seeking $1.5 million in monies, damages, from Mr. Kelly, a judgment, They're seeking a money judgment from Mr. Kelly of $1.5 million and seeking assets to the Base Productions Ltd. company. There's also a filing that's being sought for a co-defendant by the name of Daryl McDavid. They're seeking holdings in his company. And he's a co-defendant in this case pertaining to Mr. R. Kelly. Back in 2008, also in this indictment, it is mentioned that Mr. Kelly had his staffers pay witnesses off. And that was a claim that came forth last July. And that was charges of a 13 count indictment, 13 charges that came out last year. And in that charge last year, one of the charges last year that came out in July, Mr. Kelly had his staff members pay people off the 2008 trial, which he was found not guilty of. Right now, Mr. Kelly is facing racketeering and conspiracy charges in New York. He is facing sexual abuse charges in Minnesota. This current case of this new charge is a superseding indictment, and it may be put off due to the fact he already has other cases pending in Cook County. Mr. Kelly is due in court March 5th. But with this new indictment that has come forth, it may be put off at a later date due to the fact that a new charge has come forth. This said information is brought to you by CBS Chicago. It just goes on and on and on. It never stops. And of course, anybody with sense knew this would happen, that someone else would come out, another lady would come forward saying she had been with Mr. Kelly as a minor. I don't know why so many people are acting like they're shocked that this man fancied children. He fancied underage girls. And no matter how you look at the story, how you want to spin the story, who did what, who paid, who didn't pay, who took a bribe, all that information is in the indictments. That he used people to pay girls and their families off, signing documents, false documents of things that they didn't do, all because he didn't want later them to come back, I guess, and try to get money from them or whatever. But that's not how you do business. Because you see, if you like somebody, you don't need them to sign a document saying You did this, you took this from me, blah, blah, blah. Because what fool would want to do that? We learned that with the Geronda Pace scenario. Him wanting her to sign a document saying she stole something from him and blah, blah, blah. You see, a grand manipulator orchestrator. Because you see, he can pull those stunts with children. Here, sign this paper. Here, go take this to Susie Q, your mama, daddy, whoever had signed this paper. You know, what grown-up would sign any document in pertaining to their child dating a grown man? What grown-up would do that? Sign any type of document stating anything. Because one, you're not even supposed to be talking to a child. You're not even supposed to be dating and sleeping with a child. So who's going to go take a piece of paper to someone's parent to say, sign this paper because blah, blah, whatever? It's insane. And with all this proof, people still believe R. Kelly did not pursue young girls for sexual perversions, sexual deeds. There has been mention of a lady in Chicago who was a lawyer who was famous for taking cases specifically against Mr. Kelly. She was a broker for lawsuits filed by minor girls. That was mentioned in the last documentary, The Reckoning. But yet some of you still believe he's an innocent man. I don't understand how you can think someone is innocent that likes young girls. I don't care that he was famous. I don't care if they liked him. I don't care if they wanted to get something from him financially or whatever. It still makes no sense, because the one thing you all failed to say is that he's the adult. He was the adult in those scenarios with the minor children. That he was the orchestrator, the ringleader, the manipulator, the hustler. And a grown man doesn't have any reason to be bartering with a child, talking to a child. So it doesn't really matter what the girl child wanted from him. If she was chasing him because he's famous, if she thought she was going to get anything from him, monetary gifts, whatever, it doesn't matter. Because one, you're dealing with a child, the mind of a child. Two, he was an adult at the time of soliciting these young girls. So how do you think that's okay for a grown man to be out here soliciting children for sex? You sound stupid if you say, oh, they chased him because he was famous. So what? So what? A lot of young girls fancied famous people. Actors, musicians. That doesn't give the man the right to partake with them. And I don't understand a lot of people's logic that they are rallying behind a grown man, seducing, soliciting, having sexual relations with a child. Famous or not, it is wrong. And they have proof. They've had proof. It's just a matter of getting people to want to believe that is the truth. Because people want to ride the ride of aiding people who are famous. And it's wrong. And all this talk about bringing black men down and why this person rallying for bringing a black man down. Well, you see, race don't have a damn thing to do with it. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Don't play the race card. And stop comparing Mr. Kelly to Epstein, Weinstein, all these other people. Those are separate cases and they don't have anything to do with this. And I'm tired of hearing that too. That's a bit old to me. Because you see, sexual assault is sexual assault. Whether it is a white man exacting the crime against a white woman, black woman, Jew, Arab, a black man exacting the crime against a woman, child, it's sexual assault. If they can prove it, then so be it. But to compare the two, why are women, this person, famous person, trying to bring a black man down? Come on, you can do better than that. What the hell difference does it make about him being a black man? If you're wrong, you are wrong. If you are seducing and soliciting children, you are wrong. You being black, him being black, has nothing to do with it. And I'm sick of hearing it. And I just decided to go ahead and give my opinion on that. I'm tired of hearing that. I'm tired of hearing people say, why this person ain't speaking up for Weinstein, or this person? Why they ain't saying nothing bad about him? What the hell does Weinstein have to do with R. Kelly? These are two separate people, two opposite sides of the globe, doing their thing. Doing their thing. One doesn't have anything to do with the other. One happens to be a Caucasian male, one happens to be a black male. But they have nothing to do with one another. And who talks about them, interview them, what the hell that's got to do with anything? You people need to stay woke out there and stop blaming other people for this man's business. R. Kelly did what he did to these children, women, whatever. He has to stand account for that. What Weinstein, Epstein, or whomever did over there in another corner, that's their business, and they have to stand account. One can't because he's no longer living, but that's the point. None of these people have anything to do with each other. All their cases are different. The scenarios are different because they're different people and different victims. Different alleged accounts. So they have nothing to do with one another. And I'm sick of you all bringing race into the situation. I'm not for bringing anybody down. I don't care what their race is. But if you're out here committing crimes against children and women, abusing them, using them, trying to manipulate them, coerce them to sign fake documents, messing with their family, friends, calling them, harassing them, threatening them, not to speak, not to talk, not to testify, what the hell race got to do with it? It ain't got nothing to do with it. And you all, who's supposed to be civilized adults, need to stop aiding these people, because you're no different than the people that they're hiring to go out here and try to rough up people and call them and attack them and blackmail them and harass them on the phone, emails, however they're doing it. How are you any different? This is a shameful situation because this man was talented, is talented, however you want to look at it, and the only thing he could think of doing is using people to pass out his telephone number at concerts and malls to minor children. Now, how in the hell you think that's okay? So miss me with all that. Somebody chased them, somebody did this, somebody used them, they only want them for his money, they wanted this, and in the end, when you look at all the victims, what they got? What do they have? Yeah, that's what I thought. They didn't get nothing but some venereal diseases and a low self-esteem and ostracized once they decide to come out and spin the web and tell the story. That's all they got in the end. Hopefully somewhere down the line, they gained their self-respect and dignity from dealing with that fool. But stop trying to make this man be something that he is not. R. Kelly is just a regular old Joe who used and manipulated people, women, children, men, and they were stupid enough to go along with it like he was somebody grand. He ain't nobody grand. You talking about a boy who is known to be a bisexual. That's another thing I want to talk about too. Yeah, I'm going to keep it 100 in this video. I'm going to air that one out. All of y'all rallying for this man. Did y'all seem to forget all about he like men? You're so concerned about the women line and the grown women dealing with him, and they knew better. You talk bad about the girls who were children. They were chasing for the money. So which is it? Because you're down in the young girls, you're blaming their parents that they were involved, and we know that's a lie because every girl parent didn't even know that was messing with R. Kelly. How about that? Geronda told that in the first documentary. Her mama didn't even know where she was, and she told her mother didn't even care about her, what she did. So you see, you can't call a spade when you don't even know what you're talking about. Every person's situation dealing with R. Kelly is different than the last. And the man liked men. Geronda told that. And then this girl, Miss Azriel, hinted at that in the live stream when she had the altercation with Jocelyn. So y'all miss me with all this. You're blaming the children. You're blaming the parents. You're blaming the women that were grown that got involved with him. Yet he has people who have worked with him spinning the web, and they're also involved in the case and probably will be testifying to give accounts to their wrongdoing and illegal actions with documents, with the fake marriage to Aaliyah, all that. Because she wasn't even an adult. And his manager at the time admits to falsifying documents, her age. And the state worker broke the law by signing on and took a bribe. So how is it still, with all that said information, y'all want to still say he ain't done nothing wrong? This man is a predator. He used people to lure young girls to him. mistreated them, introduced them to sexual acts with other women and men and adult women. And you talk bad about these women and children, but you surely don't say nothing about him liking men. And I find that interesting. What's up with that? Your famous singer likes men, but you don't even want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about the venereal diseases. You don't want to talk about him liking men. But everybody's at fault except for Robert Kelly. There is something wrong with some of you out here. And you see, it's just like what me and my friend Mel talk about. The reason why a lot of you agree with R. Kelly, Weinstein, crazy people out here that do wrong, aid wrong, talk crazy, act crazy, it's because you're just like them. And that's why you ate them. Yeah, I'm keeping it real. We all can differ in opinion, but I think that's the reason why a lot of you aid these sick people out here in their wrongdoing and their mischief and mayhem. It's because you see, you can identify with them. You can identify with the shenanigans and the buffoonery that they exact out here in these streets. And so it's okay for you to nod your head and say, he didn't do that, she didn't do that, because you're just like them. There's something about you in your life, your past, that you identify with these creeps, these crazy people out here. And I've come to learn that in most of the stories I've covered on my channel. That when people aid people in wrongdoing, foul mouth, foul behavior, rank behavior, it's because you are like them, you are similar to them, you can identify with them. So I tell you what, as I've said before, since you all think the Pied Piper didn't rape these girls, use these women, manipulate them, coerce them, hold them bondage, hostage, whatever, wouldn't let them roam freely in his homes, make sure you send him a card every month and put on the commissary. You make sure you get him a card every month so he can buy him some chips and snacks while he's up there in that Cook County jail. Since you think he ain't done nothing, y'all going to help Robert on out. Send him some of your good old earnings every month. Since you believe in him and you think he's innocent and everybody else is lying, even the people who were paid to coerce and do wrong right along with him and for him. So go on and send your little money to the Cook County jail and put some money on his books. You understand what I'm saying? Get in the little card they use so he can buy him some snacks and Little Debbie snack cakes and all of that. Yeah, I'm keeping it 100. Enough of the shenanigans. Call a spade a spade. Robert Kelly is no different than the people that's lurking in the bushes and sitting in their cars watching little girls and kids walk by. He's no different than the person that takes the chance and pick up the child off the playground, the school, the yard, whatever. Yeah, he ain't no different. The only difference is he ain't left nobody behind, but his mentality is the same. He's cut from the same cloth. Like and share, drop your comments below. This is Everyday Shenanigans. I'm out of here.